What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 39. My name is Jason. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm joined today, as always, by my co-host, Travis, who is clothed today. I cannot see his arms, and he's had a haircut, and he's had dinner. What else is good?
No, we were just talking about Sacha Baron Cohen off mic, and all I could think about is the video where Rudy Giuliani's touching himself with that stripper, and then then Borat comes into the room.
Yeah, and he tries to act like Borat was the guy who was doing something wrong.
Right, classic, as you say, the country we live in, the world we live in.
Yeah, it's something else. Well, I also had my belly full. We both had pizza. We both had a pie. You've had a much better pie than myself, but you know, we can't all be balling. So here on a Friday evening. But anyway, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and discuss all of the week's news, rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We release new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the globe. And we also put our episodes on YouTube as well. If you want to find us there and listen to the show, or if you want to check out some game streams or clips, just look us up at the DualSense Podcast on YouTube. And then also on Twitter, if you want to holler at us, you can catch us at the DualSense Pod there as well. And without further ado, talk to me about what you've been playing this week. What's been going on?
Well, I won 2 races yesterday.
Oh, 2. Okay.
Oh yeah, on the Gran Turismo. I sent you the picture right before the first race. I got put in this dog shit lobby, and I was like 2 seconds faster in qualifying. I don't know what it put me in that lobby before. Typically, you get stuck in lobbies like that if you get on at 6 in the morning and nobody's awake. All the fast people are asleep or at work.
Yeah,
But
it's
for
like
some
Call of
reason,
Duty.
yeah, put me in this lobby, and I won by like 14 seconds in 5 laps, which is ridiculous. It was to the point where like we were at the Red Bull Ring, and like the first 2 major corners, a lot of times people will just send it or they'll miss the breaking point, especially in traffic. It's just a lot for people to process, I feel like, especially when there's no repercussion for plowing into a dude. You can't die.
Right.
I would like come out of the turn and then look in my rearview mirror and just watch the mayhem. And there was just dudes going everywhere, people going off in the P grade. It was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did that. Then I won the next race. The second race I won was a little glitchy. When the race started, it did the countdown, and then like 3 guys dropped out of the lobby, and then it turned green for me to go. So I went. I looked behind me, and like nobody else was going but me.
So it's just like everybody else just lost connection at the same time.
I don't know. So I get through the first corner and it pops up, and I'm like 14 seconds ahead, and I was like, I better slow down and let him catch up because it's kind of retarded.
Nice.
But yeah, I won anyway, so it didn't matter.
Right.
It's my 10th win on the Donut Glazer account. So,
nice.
Look out, world. Other than that, I fooled around on FIFA. I got my whole youth squad team intact now. Finally got some strikers, which has been impossible to find. Finally got 2 that are serviceable.
Yeah.
3 actually, but I sent 1 away because I didn't like his hairdo. That's what happens when I'm the GM.
That's right. Look at me.
And,
I'm the captain now.
Took over the Bolivian national team, and they are god awful. And we were last in our pod. And then they were like, qualify for the World Cup. I'm like, bro, we're already last. We're like so many games behind. They were like 1-12 when I took over. Like, I can't. So I'll probably get fired. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then played some Battlefield a couple of nights, and the same thing that I told you about last night. I wish that the sniper was more impactful than it is. I feel like Battlefield 1, you had a much better pop with it. And maybe it's just because you're supposed to headshot people, and I'm not good enough to do that. But that could be fair. But I did notice when I hit them in the head, they are dead. But it's hard to do that sometimes.
Sure.
But anyway, that's been fun. The M1 Garand's a blast. I unlocked the thermal sniper. I bought it, and it's probably the worst thing I've ever used in my life. The only good thing about it is it's semi-auto. But other than that, it's like a complete shit show.
What does it? I mean, I'm gonna have to buy it just out of curiosity. Like, I want to see what it looks like. Like, does it look like thermal on Call of Duty? Like, you know what I mean? Or does it look like really like rudimentary? Like,
it's really rudimentary, and like the guys don't glow. Like all the guys on my screen were like shadows, like darker shadows moving.
Oh.
I assume that I know that they had some form of thermal in
Mhm.
Vietnam. I don't know about World War II, but the contraption on the gun is worth buying it. It's
Yes, it looks like
outrageous
it.
looking.
Yeah, it looks like they took like a floodlight and then they mounted it to the sniper rifle,
Mhm.
and is basically what it looks like. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild.
But anyway, Breakthrough is a lot of fun on that game, even the maps we played
Mm.
yesterday, where we had Iwo Jima trying to storm the beach, it makes you really
Oh
think,
yeah,
like, "How the fuck do they do this in real life?" 'Cause, like, we were trying to get off the boat, and I was like, "This is impossible, like, what are we doing?"
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, you don't get that kind of experience on Call of Duty, but it's not made for that either, but,
Hmm.
yeah, again, it's a completely different world, but, the only thing I don't like about Battlefield so far is the guys flying the planes are, like, the
Oh,
best
they're
in the
so
world.
fucking good. Yeah,
They're,
they're
like,
so fucking good,
level 300, and they're Stuka dive bombing me like they're actually in the German Luftwaffe, like, "Can we calm down?" Like
dude. That we played last night, I guess, and I swear, like I may have been killed twice by a human, and the rest of the time by either the aeroplane, or the
Mhm,
tank. 100%.
mhm. I got lit on fire a couple times by that Winston Churchill tank.
Yeah, I got lit on fire by the handheld flamethrower that I told you that I wanted to buy.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude
That's so
dude
cool.
came around he came around one of the trench corners. There was like 3 of us, and he just let that thing go, and it just toasted all of us. So that thing's pretty neat. I also played FIFA this week. Just normal career mode stuff, but I am enjoying St. Johnston a lot more in the Scottish Premiership than Ross County. So it's been a lot better. I've had a lot better players that I've been getting in the youth academy, so that helps quite a bit. I'm waiting on that one kid I told you about, Santiago, to become of age from Argentina. He looks like he's going to be fun. And then Battlefield 5 as well, like we just talked about. And then I also I played more of that Generation Zero game, and I encountered a game breaking bug,
Oh,
and
cool, what is it? I love
I
these.
was I was doing a mission, and I was supposed to go kill like this, I guess a giant robot or whatever. It was called a hunter, and it was at this castle. It was at this Swedish castle, like dilapidated castle that had been like a tourist attraction or whatever. Anyway, I kill every like little minion that is you're working up to the boss. You can clearly tell, and then I get to like the open area where the boss or whatever is obviously supposed to be, and he just never spawned. And I ran all the way around. I like ran out, and I came back, like everything, like couldn't get it to work. So I was like, all right, cool game, but I don't have time for this. Like I'm not gonna redo all that over again. So
Mm,
I guess I'll move on from that. And then I tried a new game this week called Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, and it's like it's a space like pirate sort of game. Basically, it's like a very more relaxed version of like Elite Dangerous or something like hardcore space sim like that. It's a very
got you.
like it's way more like less serious than that. And I tried that out. It's cool. It does some cool stuff, but I didn't really like the flying in it. Is I don't know. So it was okay. And then just the last thing I've been doing is just playing some random Vita games here and there at night, just for a little bit, few minutes here and there, just trying out different stuff, and I've been dabbling around. But that's pretty much it. Oh, one thing I did forget because I didn't write it here. So last night I played the Ratchet and Clank game that they just gave out for free
Mhm.
to everyone, and it's the remake from 20 or the reboot from 2016, and played that because obviously the new one comes out in June. So I wanted to see what that was about. And it's pretty cool. It's just like a mascot, like hero shooter. Like it's like if Crash Bandicoot was like a semi open world, and
Mhm.
then you had guns. That's
Mhm.
basically kind of what it is. It's pretty neat. So I may push on with that a little bit. We're just in this lull. Like there's nothing to play until Returnal comes out at the end of April. So
Alright.
just been kind of messing around with all this random shit. But anyway, that's about it. So with that said, we've got a lot of news this week. It's a pretty big week, pretty meaty week. So let's jump in here. Number one, in what was clearly a PR response to the windfall of positive news coming out of Xbox in the last week or so, PlayStation announced that industry veteran Jade Raymond has founded a new development studio called Haven, where she will immediately begin work on a new IP exclusively for PlayStation. In a statement on the PlayStation blog, Raymond said, quote, "Together, we want to create games that are a haven for players, and we want to build a studio that is a haven for developers. So, while we don't have many details to announce today, I want the PlayStation community to know that Haven is already hard at work on an unannounced IP," end quote. Raymond recently stepped down from leading Google Stadia's internal game development, but has also worked at Electronic Arts and at Ubisoft on Assassin's Creed. A few others have already joined the ranks at Haven, including the other co-founder, Paula Joyaux, who will also serve as senior producer, who has worked on Watch Dogs, Far Cry Primal, and Child of Light. They are joined by Chief Technology Officer Leon O'Reilly, who has previously worked as a technical director at Ubisoft, EA, and Google. And finally, the last of the known current developer employees, is Daniel Drepo, who comes over from Ubisoft Montreal to work as a game director on the project. So, any thoughts here?
Well, the first obvious thing is it's awesome that we're getting a IP that's exclusively for PlayStation from these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read the roster of games they've all worked on and companies they've worked for, it's kind of hard not to perk your ears up a little bit. But
Yeah.
that being said, we are, miles away from knowing anything about what this is.
Right.
I'm sure they're working hard on it. I don't discount that or discredit that, but you know,
Yeah.
there was a game that I remember we heard about for years before it came out, and not Cyberpunk. That's obviously one, but I remember
Mm-hmm.
there was a PlayStation exclusive. There was a new studio, and they're like, "We're doing an unannounced," and then we didn't know about it for years, but we kept hearing about it, and we kept hearing about it, and it finally rolled out eventually. Maybe it was Cyberpunk. I don't know, but anyway, there was a game I remember that now that I'm blanking because I'm talking to you and didn't write it down what it was. But point being, in response to the news coming out of Xbox, I don't. I found the Xbox news this week not that interesting, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They put some older games that you can play now. Big deal. I don't play older games, and most people don't
Mm-hmm.
unless they're bored, really bored.
Yeah,
And
like
and
me.
ones, yeah, well, and the ones that play the older games typically, like John, he'll go play it on his old Xbox or he'll go play Super Nintendo. He's not going to play an emulator. So like
Right. Right.
people were acting like it's a huge deal that you could play all of the fucking whatever was on there, all of the Wolfensteins or Dooms or whatever. Big
Oh
deal.
yeah. Yeah.
That's not important. It's only important once the, exclusives are exclusive, as far as I'm concerned, and we already knew that was gonna be the case.
Yeah.
So,
I
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I get that the Bethesda news was a big deal. I mean, it's a shot for me because you know that I like the Elder Scrolls, and I think Starfield will be good. And it doesn't seem like we're going to get those now. But I think that Sony kind of wanted to put a little bit of their own blood in the water this week with things. You could just tell as we get a little bit further along here, you can kind of tell that they made newsworthy news, I guess. They made noteworthy announcements, but you can tell it's like pieces, right? So like they announced this studio and she really just had one paragraph to say, and all it says is that, hey, I've made a studio. We're making a game, we can't tell you. And we have five employees is what people have
Right.
found on is what we found on LinkedIn. So
And I felt like they were kinda name dropping in a way,
yeah. Yeah, and of course they didn't put those guys in the release. Somebody dug that up
but
later
still.
on, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but they've obviously put it on LinkedIn, so it's findable. But they clearly, I don't think, wanted to announce this yet. I don't think they wanted this to be news yet. This may have been like a summer thing, like when they do their thing in June. Their E3 replacement. They probably wanted to sit on this until then, and then maybe show like a trailer, like a cinematic trailer for whatever they're working on or something like that. But they felt like they needed to do it. So I mean, it's exciting. But Jade Raymond hasn't made a game in a long time because she left Ubisoft and then she went to Google Stadia, and then obviously they just shut down all of their internal development. So I mean, she's worked on big stuff, and they have people who've worked on big stuff, but it's been a while since she's actually made a game. So I'm a little reserved on it. We'll see what happens. And then there was one other thing I wanted to say about it, but now I'm blanking too. So it must have not been very important. Anyway, we'll move on. Maybe it'll come to me. Number 2, PlayStation's Senior Vice President of Platform Planning and Management, Hideaki Nishino, visited the PlayStation blog again this week to reveal the new controllers for the next generation of PlayStation VR on the PlayStation 5. The controllers feature an orb-like design without cords, as well as the highly regarded adaptive triggers and haptic feedback from the DualSense controller. The VR controllers also include finger touch detection for your thumb, index finger, and middle finger, allowing natural gesture inputs during gameplay. They also feature the standard action buttons and analog sticks, and also include a tracking ring that allows the headset to track the controllers without the need for a camera, like the PlayStation camera. So, did you see these at all, or what do you think?
Is this what we can replace with bananas?
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea. Yeah,
I feel like we're gonna end up with like almost like mechanics gloves that you wear, and they're gonna be tactile,
that'd
and
be
you can like
dope.
manipulate your fingers. That's what I feel like we're getting to. Because when I was reading about like these touch detections for your thumb and your index fingers, I was like, man, how close are we to getting to where we're not? It's not really a controller anymore, where it's just like you put this thing on and you put on a helmet, and the helmet
Yeah.
uses these rings to detect your fingertips or whatever, almost like those suits they wear with the dots on them. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know what it's the cool thing about the VR stuff is like I never know what to expect it will look like or feel like. And then when they release something, I'm always like surprised and think it's cool.
Yeah. I thought they looked cool. This may, I mean, I'm not really into VR right now, but this, depending on what this thing can do and what games look like, this may be the one that gets me in the door. So we'll see. I thought that it's big that it seems that the controllers are going to be wireless, and
Mhm.
that you don't need the camera to use it. That the
Right.
headset, whenever they show that, the headset will be able to track the movement, because I think that, well, first of all, it keeps you from having to buy another $60, $70 thing accessory to have. And then second of all, right now, one of the hardest things I think about VR is like, I think you have to have like a 10 by 8 space or something
Right.
too. That's what they recommend to use PSVR, right? Like hardly anybody has 10 by 8
It
to
was
use
80 square
VR.
feet laying around.
Yeah. So you can have the camera see, like, so it makes me think that by eliminating that step and just being able to have the headset detect it, that you'll be able to use it in a
Right.
much smaller space, which I think is really cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I think that will help get more people in the door too.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too. It's not as cumbersome or annoying to buy extra things. It's nice.
Yeah, I agree. But it looks good. The black aesthetic. They're going. It's so weird that they. So the other thing is that with the PS5, I just thought about this, but with the PS5, they showed us the DualSense first, right? And it was
Mhm.
white, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, it's a white controller," which obviously meant, we thought that we were going to get a white console, and we did. So that makes me wonder, the controllers are black on this thing. Is the whole headset going to be black? The old one is white with a little bit. So I wonder if we're going to have a black VR headset.
Oh, I'm
Not that it
sure it'll
matters,
match.
but
Right, right.
yeah, not that it matters, but it seems like they like to do these little like Easter egg things with shit like that. So, the I agree with you though. I think the finger touch detection is really dope. Like that you can basically, the way I read it is like you can like lift your finger off and like tap, and it's
Mhm.
basically like a button press. That's really
Right.
cool. So that's really wild. I'm ready for the mechanics gloves. Just do it all. Number 3, SIE CEO Jim Ryan also stopped by the PlayStation blog this week. They were busy, Travis, on Wednesday to announce the next round of free content coming to PlayStation's Play at Home initiative. The biggest announcement is that PS4 smash hit Horizon Zero Dawn from Guerrilla Games will be free to all players from April 19th to May 14th. And it actually is the complete edition of the game that includes the DLC. Also, starting on March 25th, players can download the following games for free until April 22nd. They include underwater adventure game Abzu, gunfighting dungeon crawler Enter the Gungeon, audiovisual stimulating shooter game Res Infinite. Love being stimulated. Underwater survival game Subnautica, which I've always been interested in, so that's cool. Open world puzzle exploration game The Witness, Astrobot Rescue Mission on PlayStation VR, single player PSVR action adventure puzzle game Moss, rhythm action game Thumper on PlayStation VR, and VR puzzle exploration game Paper Beast. What do you think about the additions here?
Well, Horizon Zero Dawn is obviously your headliner.
Mm-hmm.
Never played it. This will be the only time I will probably be close to playing it, and that's
You
if I
should try it.
remember
It's
it's
free.
free. Other than that, none of these games really appeal to me. I'm not big on I don't underwater games make me feel like I'm underwater. I hate underwater levels on
Yeah.
games. There was one on Far Cry. I remember playing that one where you had to swim underneath some things while the
Oh
mist was
yeah.
coming at you or whatever, and I always feel like I can't breathe. It's really
Oh yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
That being said, Subnautica is interesting, but I probably won't end up there.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give that a shot. That's the one that really interests me the most. Some of these I already have because they're like Abzu was a PlayStation Plus game at one point, and I think The Witness may have been too. So some of these I have, but this is a pretty good. This is a strong list overall, and then it's really made strong by having Horizon on there, which I wholeheartedly recommend everybody at least try. It's free. There's no reason not to. It's a great game. And then it's pretty cool that they're going to give us. I mean, they're giving us two of PlayStation VR's biggest games. I mean, Astrobot
Mhm.
Rescue Mission and Moss are like two of the like most highly regarded PSVR games, and they're just giving those away for free. So
Yeah,
I'm
which
definitely
makes
going to,
sense.
yeah. So I'm definitely going to claim those for down the road if I end up getting,
Mhm.
the next VR. I'll have that in the chamber.
I feel like that, it's part of, like, kind of the new PSVR marketing. Here's some of the best ones we
Hmm.
have. Try them out, see what you think. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think they're doing this stuff too. Like, I mean, because last year with the play at home thing, I think they gave us maybe two games,
Mhm.
like
Yeah, it
over
wasn't
a couple of
much.
months. They've already given us, Ratchet, and now they're going to give us these 10 other games. And then they said also, which I forgot to put this in here, but they said they're going to extend the play at home thing until June, I think.
Okay.
And so we're going to get more free stuff. I guess they're going to announce it at the end of April, but so I think what my point was, I think they're going to partially, or not partially, I think they're using this as kind of a response to Game Pass. Just keeps adding all this free shit and all
Mhm.
these kind of like newer games. But
Mhm.
I think from the angle that Sony is coming at it, of course, this is a temporary thing. But like with Game Pass, you have to pay for Game Pass to get all the free shit. Well, this you don't have to have anything. You don't even have to have PlayStation Plus or whatever. Like
You
you
just
can
download
just
it.
you just download it and it's free. So that's pretty cool. And you can tell they're trying to fight it, which we've talked before. Competition is good. If Xbox is making moves, then that means PlayStation's making moves and vice versa. So that's good. Number 4, Square Enix joined in on the PlayStation Blog Fund. Travis, I'm telling you, it was busy and announced that the upcoming PS5 console exclusive Project Athia is actually titled Forspoken, and it will release sometime in 2022. The open world action RPG features protagonist Frey Holland, described as a quote, ordinary young woman who must harness her magical abilities to survive in the fantastical yet dangerous land of Athia, end quote. The announcement was accompanied by a small slice of gameplay, which showed mostly how players will traverse across the open world with great speed, and it also showed a tiny bit of combat. So,
Mhm.
did you check out this trailer at all?
I
What did
did.
you think if you did?
The first thing I'd like to point out was, um, she's not an ordinary woman if she has magical abilities. That's the first problem I have. Second
Right.
problem I have is they say fantastical yet dangerous. You could say and dangerous. Fantastical does not
Mm,
imply that it's safe. Anyway,
true.
um,
True.
Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe is fantastical. So Star Wars. Anyway, point being,
Sure.
just doesn't matter semantics. I'm glad that it's not called Project Athia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a weird relationships with names. Like I want the game to be named something good, like like Red Dead Redemption. It's like, oh, I know, I have an idea what we're doing. It sounds awesome.
Hmm.
Ghost of Tsushima, like cool. I can fall in when I'm watching the trailer, and then I have the name. Like I can put it all together. The narrative is kind of building in my head. Project Athia, I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here. I'm kind of all, but
Hmm.
Forspoken makes me feel like we have a real tangible thing now. And
Right.
then when you watch the trailer and you read a little bit of the description, all of a sudden the narrative's coming together. So I'm happy that it's Forspoken because what I saw first was Forspoken trending on Twitter.
Oh, cool.
So I clicked it and I watched it and I was like, "What am I watching?" And
Yeah.
so I went back to the thread, and then I realized it was Project Athia, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
So,
You're
yeah,
like, what the fuck's Forspoken?
I
Yeah.
was like, "What the hell's going on?" So, I'd never heard that before, so I was thinking, like, "This must be something new," but anyway, look, I get it's probably a vertical slice or something like that, I get that, but, for what we
Mhm.
have being I would guess we're more than a year away. This might be holiday 2022 before we get it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel a lot better about where this game is now that I've seen this little trailer, read the description, and they've renamed it. I feel a lot better about its potential.
Yeah. So a couple things. First of all, I am intrigued by what they showed. They showed obviously they didn't come out and say this, I don't think, anywhere, but it seems like it's set in the future somehow because the girl
Mhm.
has like Chuck Taylors on and like modern looking clothing. But then
Yeah.
obviously there was like a then she had magic, obviously, but then there was like a dragon or some shit that was chasing her. So there's something going on there in the time, something with the timeline that seems intriguing a little bit. And then the other thing is, if you'll remember, there was that Sony PlayStation trailer a little while back that we talked about that had the project that they were well now Forspoken had the release date in the footnotes at the very bottom that said
Right.
January 2022. Do you remember that?
I do.
So I wonder if that is the release date. I mean,
I
I'm
just
kind
can't
of with I'm
imagine.
I'm kind of with you though. It seems a little bit early, and the fact I don't know though, man. I mean, it is third party. It's not first party, so
That's true.
I guess they may be using it as like a stopgap, but I don't know. January is a good time to release games though. There's just not a whole lot going on. Like look at Hitman
Mhm.
this year did well, and then Dying Light all those years ago it released in January and it did well. So January is a good time to release one, but we'll see. And then the last thing I was going to say is I dig the name. I think Forspoken is cool. I'm a
Mhm.
fan of I'm a fan. I don't know about you, but I'm a fan of game titles that are one word. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It's just a psychological thing.
Yeah.
You know what
I'm
I
the
mean?
same way with albums.
Yeah.
I want it to
Yeah.
like whatever. Yellow. Okay.
Yeah. It's like the stock market. Like there's a psychology to the stock market. Like if a stock is at $39, like you can pretty much bet it's going to go to 40 because like it's an even number. Like they're just psychology proven that like it's going to go to 40
Mhm.
because it's just a thing in our little human
Yeah.
brains.
It's better than some of these names we get where they're like, these Japanese, it's like
Oh Christ.
Borderland of the Head times 58, Dragon Face. Like, just call it Dragon
Yeah.
Face.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some of that shit to talk about later in the show. I'm pretty sure we've got some names like that. And then one more thing I thought about the last thing about this is the original trailer that Sony for this thing that they put out this week. Sony uploaded it to the PlayStation YouTube channel, and in the description they forgot to change the name to Forspoken. In the description of it, we could tell they just had it. They were sitting on it, whatever. But it didn't say Project Athia. It said Witch. So at some point, this game was called Witch,
God.
which which was apparently some type of tie-in to a 2012 tech demo called Agnes something that Square Enix did at E3 2012, and it that apparently there's a rumor out there that because they apparently like spent all this time writing all this lore for a 5-minute tech demo at E3 2012, and the rumor is that they took that tech demo and all of that lore that those guys sat down and wrote for a 5-minute demo, and then they turned it into this game, which is kind of neat.
That would be
So
cool if that's true.
yeah, I guess we'll find out. Number 5, Square Enix didn't stop there, Travis, as they also made a few other PlayStation relevant announcements at their inaugural Square Enix Presents live stream on Thursday. First off, Life is Strange True Colors was announced from Deck 9 Games, and it will be coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on September the 10th. The Marvel's Avengers team also shared their content roadmap for the first part of the year, which includes new events and missions, but the highlight is that this summer they will be adding Black Panther as a playable character alongside a new Wakanda jungle biome and other new features. When asked by website IGN when Spider Man would be making his way to the game, the developer confirmed that he is actively being worked on, but is still a ways off. If you'll remember, he was originally planned for the first part of this year, so that's not happening. And then in other Life is Strange news, the Life is Strange Remastered collection will launch on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 later this year and will feature upgraded visuals and full facial motion capture. Any thoughts?
I wonder if the Spider-Man delay has to do with Miles Morales and how it's still selling. I wonder if they were going to put
Yeah.
Spider-Man out as kind of like a booster to remind people or something like that.
Sure.
That would be my guess. I don't know. That just feels like something they would do. I think the Wakanda biodome sounds kind of interesting to mess around in. It sounds like an interesting little sandbox.
Yeah, the PS5 upgrade, it seems like it's pretty good. It's got a lot more in it than I thought. So they did the 4K 60 thing, obviously, whatever, but they also they drastically reduced the load times, which is a big problem if you remember. So now everything loads on PS5 in like 4 or 5 seconds, which is dope. And then they added, I didn't know they were doing this, but they added adaptive trigger and haptic feedback. So
Cool.
all the different characters, like their attacks feel differently on the triggers and stuff. So that's pretty neat. My theory on the Spider-Man thing is that I think that they've flip-flopped some things around. I think that I don't know. I'm not convinced that Black Panther was always supposed to come before Spider-Man. I mean, that much seems obvious, I guess, but I'm wondering if, because this game is kind of having a hard time here after launch, the player base is way down and all that. Part of me is wondering if they're going to use Spider-Man as like a shot in the arm, like late this year or like next year, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Spider-Man's here now, because Spider-Man's like the most popular superhero in the world. So that's kind of my theory, my little tinfoil thing is they're gonna use that as like as life support, like a CPR thing later in the year probably. And then the Life is Strange stuff, I know that's a pretty popular game, but I don't really care about that. So, but I'm glad for you guys that are getting a new game and all that. Number 6, PlayStation also shined the spotlight on indie developers on Wednesday by sharing announcements and updates on several upcoming indie titles over on the PlayStation blog. Those fucking guys earned their paycheck this week. Clever Play Studio announced that their asymmetric spy co-op game Operation Tango will be coming to PS4 and PS5 this spring. It looks pretty cool. In Operation Tango, one player plays as a field agent, while the other plays as a covert hacker, with players working together to save the world. Developer Finji shared an update on their artistic puzzle game Chicory, A Colorful Tale, which will also come to both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 this spring. Following that, developer Terrifying Jellyfish, which is a great name, stopped by to give an update on Noor, Play With Your Food, an interactive exploration into the aesthetics of food and drink, which lets you play with your food with whatever level of seriousness or silliness that you see fit. Have you seen this game?
Yeah, I've looked it up. I feel like it would entertain me if I was like, 7.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I would do with it now. It's not really for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's unique, that's for sure. After that, Travis developer Armature Studio revealed that narrative adventure game Where the Heart Leads will release on PS4 and PS5 on July 13th. In Where the Heart Leads, players will guide Whit Anderson through his past, present, and future. Sounds like a weatherman. Making
Is he a real
thousands of
person?
decisions. I don't know. Making thousands of decisions that lead to dozens of endings. Virtual reality 3D puzzle game Puzzling Places was announced for PSVR by developer realities.io. Puzzling Places features 3D jigsaw puzzles for beautiful locations from around the world, and it will release sometime this winter. Developer 2 Point Interactive also revealed new gameplay for their physics-based spatial puzzle game, Heavenly Bodies, where each limb on a physically simulated cosmonaut is controlled by a button on the DualSense controller. And finally, the hit detective RPG Disco Elysium will release on March 30th on PS4 and PS5, as announced by developer Zome or Zaum, however you say that. So, does any of this stand out to you? Did you check any of this out?
I was just thinking about how if I was Whit Anderson, that was my name, and I was slightly schizophrenic, and I read that, like, that would really end my world. I'm like, man, I knew people were controlling me, and it's right here on this PlayStation blog.
Right. It's
Who
the
are these
Truman
people?
Show.
Yeah, it would
It's
be
like
too
Ed
much for me to
TV and
handle.
shit.
I think Operation Tango sounds dope, especially if this is co-op,
Yeah.
2 different roles. I'm not too keen on saving the world. I could care less about that, but I do like spies and I do like co-op games, so it sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. It looked fun. It looked that must be like a thing right now because we've talked about that one racing game where one controls the track and the other drives, type of
Hmm.
thing. This is similar but with spies where one hacks and one moves around and does shit. So that must be a thing right now. It's
Yeah.
pretty neat. That one sounded cool. And then there was another one that interested me on here. I think it was the 3D puzzle game, the VR puzzle game that looked pretty cool. It's like basically you take a picture of the I don't know the Christ. Take a picture of like the Eiffel Tower and you a real picture and then you like make the puzzle in real time. That sounded like
You
fun in
couldn't
VR.
you couldn't think of one
I could
object in the world.
I couldn't think of one wonder in the world. Oh Christ. There's nothing beautiful about this world. There's nothing.
Tell me
It's
about it.
fucking worthless. So all right. Oh, and then Heavenly Bodies. I sent you that. That
Yes.
looks fun. But the problem is the co-op is not online. It's couch co-op.
Yeah. It's really I thought it was super interesting because, like, at first when I was watching it, I was like, "This looks fucking retarded," and then the more I watched it, I was like, "This isn't that bad, actually. It actually looks kinda
Yeah.
cool." So
It's
now that
like
I understood how you grab and how you can use it, like, "Oh, okay, now I
yeah.
see what we're doing. Now it's cool because it's a different type of
Yeah.
puzzler than you normally see.
Yeah. It's like Gang Beast, mixed with like a space puzzle game. It's pretty fun.
Right.
It looks fun. And then that Disco Elysium game, I mean, I know it's pretty well regarded, but pretty
Yeah,
sure
that's
those are the
cool.
guys that have those are the guys that have a statue of I think it's Karl Marx in their office. So I think
I'm
I'll
okay.
pass on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that.
Yep. Karl Marx's theories have always worked every time they've been tried.
Uh-huh. Anyway, Travis, we also have several news nuggets here. We have a bunch. And just feel free to jump in here. Anything that tickles your loins. First nugget, Housemarque shared a new update on the PlayStation blog this week, which revealed that the game features asynchronous multiplayer in the vein of Soulsborne games, where players will encounter corpses of other players and can either scavenge their bodies or relive their final moments in combat. I gotta say, that sounds pretty dope to me. They've really
Final
been
moments.
pumping they've really been pumping and pimping this game this week in the last couple weeks. I'm good. I'm good for it. Lucid Games announced that Destruction All Stars will be getting season content starting in April, featuring a new character and items and a battle pass system. What do you think about
Wait,
that,
I got
Ian?
I got a question before we go back to sorry, this is go back to Housemarque. If
Oh,
you
okay.
if you replay where I died, can you hear me screaming at the mic because I'm terrified of the spaghetti monster?
I hope so.
Is
God,
that
that would be awesome.
like a little bit
Somebody
of
needs to make
Division?
that game.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit of Division tapes you could find.
Yeah.
Going back to Destruction All Stars, speaking of racing games, you favorited a tweet earlier about Dirt has a big announcement next week.
Mm-hmm.
There was a comment. It was a great comment on there in the comments, and it said they're
I didn't
they're
read it.
they're announcing Dirt Ultimate Team,
Oh shit!
and I died.
Uh, that's
Classic.
hilarious. That's because
Uh,
they're EA. That's great. That's so
mhm,
fucking good,
that's good.
dude. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. I don't know if I'll. I mean, I don't even. I'll be honest with you. I don't have All Stars on the PS5 anymore.
Mhm.
I got rid of it to get Battlefield. I think so. I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see
It
what they do with
depends
the
if the
characters and
characters look.
shit.
Yeah, the characters are what drives that. I think.
Yeah, I
No pun
agree.
intended.
Oh, nice, good one, noise. Website Push Square reported that Assassin's Creed Valhalla's Wrath of the Druids DLC will release on April 29th.
Are druids midgets? Did I make that up?
I
Or are they
I
big?
don't know. The like the art, like the key art, the cover art for this thing has
Yeah.
like a dude has a dude with like antlers on his head. Like
Yeah.
he's
What are
wearing these
druids? I used to
it's
know.
like I don't know. It's like he's wearing a thing with like these it's like he killed a deer and then took the deer's head and put it on his head is what it looked like.
Okay, so are druids are like barbarians, but they're into like their religion's odd. That feels like a thing.
Yeah. It's like very
Like
pagan, I
pagan,
guess.
yeah. Like their religion's very earthy.
Yeah, I think that's. I think for the DLC, you go to either Ireland or Scotland. I
That
want to
sounds
say
right.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes you to a new location. So I
Yep.
mean,
I
that's
think
neat,
yeah.
but
Sounds fun.
it's neat. But yeah, but that game's too much. It's too fucking long. We don't need those games anymore, guys. Also, website Push Square also reported that Sony confirmed they are working on a solution to the Little Big Planet servers, which have been offline for over a week following a DDoS attack. that the wish list feature has returned to the PlayStation Store on web browsers.
It's just like, is that important?
Hey, man, I use it all the time on the actual console.
It
So.
reminds me of people that complain. They were complaining on Twitter the other day about how like they're holding the PS button on the 5 to turn it off like it's the PS4.
Oh yeah,
And they're
yeah,
like, they've added the UI, they've added 15 steps to turn the thing into. Oh, you know what happens when I press the button and I remember, oh, it's on a PS4? I hit it again and
yeah.
fucking turn it off. That's what I do. I don't sit there and think, well, goddamn, I have to learn a new thing. No, it's 30 seconds. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
Like, Jesus, if your life
yeah.
is that dependent on those two things, like, you need to take a breath.
I mean, they. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm having a brain fart. I mean, it is not that big of a deal, but they did unnecessarily add steps to turn the console off.
Yeah,
So
it's the UI is different, and if they would
yeah,
have had this UI first, they would have never even considered that to be a possibility. You know, they could also
correct.
put an additional button on the controller that you press once and just automatically dumps the power to it and it turns off. They could do it that way
Yeah,
too. That'd be really fast. Why
that
don't you
won't
pull the
piss
power
anybody
plug
off.
out? It'll just turn the fuck off. Like,
Just flip that power strip off.
it's just like, like, what are we worried about? Anyway,
Push Square also reported, Travis, that a native PS5 version of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order may be on its way, as the German Game Ratings Board has recently rated the game. Now the Germans are getting in on it.
it's everybody. Is this another country?
It's everybody. The goddamn Germans don't have nothing to do with it. That's a Smokey and the Bandit reference for you young boys out there. Push Square also reported that a PS5 upgrade for Demolition Racer Wreckfest is currently in the works. That's kind of intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that that game does not run at 60 frames per second? Like, that's pretty
Yeah.
standard for racing games, but that game does
It's like
not.
30, yeah. Yeah, I think they had
Yeah.
a lot of problems because of the destruction it has in it. It didn't
Oh,
I don't think it scaled very well, but there's
yeah.
not really a destruction model like Wreckfest on console. The only thing close
Yeah.
to it is, BeamNG on the computer.
I would check it out on PS5. I think I own. I don't remember if I bought it disc or digital, but I would
Me
check
either.
out a 4K 60 upgrade.
Yeah.
Push Square also reported that the amateur programmer who recently found a way to drastically reduce GTA Online load times on PC has been compensated $10,000 by Rockstar, who will be implementing the fix in a future update.
I feel like, drastically improving anything for Rockstar is worth more than 10K. Like, lawyer up,
Yeah,
buddy, get 50 out of them. Pay for
yeah,
college.
they need to hire that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Forget
Yeah,
$10,000. They
just
need to
hire
hire
me.
that dude. Yeah, hire that guy. If he figured it out, and the 1,000 employees at Rockstar couldn't, give me a
Yeah.
break.
He can do something.
Push Square reported that Watch Dogs Legion will be adding PS4 and PS5 crossplay in the near future. That Balan Wonderworld's Day 1 patch will address demo issues on PS4 and PS5. That publisher 2K Sports has signed a long-term exclusivity deal with golfer Tiger Woods, who doesn't have legs anymore, and has also acquired developer HB Studios, who developed last year's PGA Tour 2K21. So I guess they're happy with the results there.
He's Lieutenant Woods now. He's out there on a shrimping boat.
Lieutenant Woods.
I love that he GTAs his SUV down a fucking hill, and then 2 days later, he's like, "I gotta sign a contract, get some money, you guys. I just lost my leg. Hook me up with this contract."
I never even thought about that. Dude can't fucking play golf again. That's his age. He's like, all right. He calls his agent. He's like, hey, I'm never gonna golf. I'm never gonna swing a club again. Give me a fucking deal somewhere. Guy's like, all right, I'm on it. I'm on it, Tiger.
They called Golfer on E2K and hooked him up.
Oh man. Let's see here. Push Square also reported that indie hit roguelike Dead Cells has surpassed 5 million copies sold. It's pretty impressive for an indie game. That puzzle platformer Tandem, A Tale of Shadows, will release later this year on PS4. And that upcoming Batman game, which doesn't actually feature Batman, Gotham Knights, has been delayed to 2022 by Warner Brothers Games Montreal.
Can it be a Batman game without Batman?
It really can't. So I mean, it is called Gotham Knights, so it doesn't say Batman, but
It's just the universe.
it's in the Batman universe. Like, it's in Arkham and all that shit. Like, I don't know. I'm not convinced he's not going to be in the game somehow. Like, at least as like a
Oh, there'll be
cameo
Easter
or
eggs.
whatever. Yeah, it has to be. Like,
Is this
it just has to
is this the NFL head coach to Madden version?
be. That's hilarious. Yeah, I
Like,
think
it's
it
weird
is.
to me. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, it still could be. I'm not saying it won't be a cool game. It's just odd to call it a Batman game without Batman. Like, can we just call it like a DC game or something? You know?
it's weird because like it's going to be a good game, I'm
Mhm.
sure. And the other one, that Suicide Squad game, that they're making,
Right.
the people who actually did Batman Arkham are
It should
making
be
that
good.
one. And I'm sure that one will be good too, but I'm just not excited about either one of them
Right,
yet. And
right.
like they've shown gameplay of Gotham Knights, and I don't know, I'm not sure about those yet, but we'll see. We've got plenty of time now. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that PlayStation, in partnership with esports company RTS, has acquired the Evolution Championship Series, a fighting game tournament, Travis, that has been running for almost 25 years. A long time. That Detroit Become Human developer Quantic Dream has partnered with indie developer Parallel Studio on a new narrative atmospheric game, which they will publish for them. That the Communities feature on PlayStation 4 will officially shut down in April. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the PS Store listing for PS5 exclusive Deathloop confirms that the game will feature ray tracing at 4K and 60 frames per second. It's
Sick.
dope. That beat 'em up game Shing received a stealth PS5 upgrade, which is free to PS4 owners of the game. And that Payday 3 developer Overkill Software has secured a publishing partnership with Starbreeze and Koch Media for the game, which is now fully funded and will launch in 2023 for PC and consoles.
There we
And they
go.
also reveal, I know this is fucking awesome. And they also revealed that once the game launches in 2023, it will have an 18-month content roadmap of post-launch content.
Sweet.
Pretty
I'm
dope.
glad.
What do you
There's
think?
a time there where we thought it was gonna die, so it's nice that we got full funding.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. So if it's hopefully for 2023, they can't possibly bring these fucking things to the last gen, like PS4 and whatever. It has to be current gen. What is now current gen has to be current gen only, which it excites me about that because one of the, we both played Payday 2 together, and really the only complaint I guess I would have about it is it's janky,
Yeah.
like,
It's so janky,
uh,
it makes it harder than it's hard anyway, but the jankiness makes it really hard.
yeah, it's a great way to put it. So hopefully with they can revamp their engine. They've got some money here in the bank. They can take care of it, and they've got 2 years to do it. So that's exciting. We'll see what they do. Website Gamatsu reported that Dungeons and Dragons based co-op action real-time combat RPG, Christ, Dark Alliance will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 22nd. That first-person psychological horror game Evil Inside, which I feel like we talk about every week on the show somehow, released on March 25th for PS4 and PS5. That read-only memories Neurodiver has added a PlayStation 5 version in addition to PlayStation 4, and it will launch sometime later this year.
See, that's a damn good PlayStation game name.
Read-only
Neurodiver.
memories.
We're diving
Yeah, oh,
into
yeah.
your neurologicalness to it's great. It's a great name.
Neurodiver is awesome. If it was just Neurodiver, that'd be perfect. Let's see here. Gamatsu also reported that Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout Season 4 launches on March 22nd, so it may already be live by the time you're listening to this. That arcade-style twin-stick shooter Curved Space releases on June 18th for PS4 and PS5. That Old People Mayhem sandbox game,
Mhm.
Just Die Already,
Perfect.
will launch on PS4 sometime this year. I watched some gameplay of this. Did you check it out?
No, I didn't because what I have in my head is what I want it to be. I pictured old people and there's like, you can tell me if I'm wrong, there's wheelchairs maybe and you're trying to kill them
Yeah.
all. I just like the idea of that. It's funny.
Do you remember this is way back, okay? Do you remember when PlayStation 3 launched and it had a game on it called Pain, and
Yeah, yeah.
you could launch your dude like
Into
out of a
everything.
rocket across like the city and like
Right.
smashing everything, and you got points for how
Yeah.
much destruction you did?
Yeah, you as long as
It's
you kept moving.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's with old people, and then you can like the trailer that I saw, like you could decapitate an old person, and there was like the legs would keep running, and like it was
Uh-huh.
fucking wild, man. I don't know what's going on, but it's a very interesting idea for a game. So
Somebody's got some deep problems they're getting out with this game.
somebody hates their grandparents. They're like, you know what? This is a
Yeah.
great idea for a game. I'm just
Someone to
gonna
kill
kill
'em.
old people. Yeah, I'm gonna kill old people. How many ever thousands of ways I can think of. Gamatsu also reported that stylish and visceral first-person shooter Severed Steel, which was previously titled Impact, will release on PS4 sometime this year. That rhythm action game Clang 2 will launch on PS4 and PS5 in the third quarter of this year. That roguelike brawler Chinzo Club was announced by developer Pixadome and will release this fall on consoles. That detective adventure game Murder Mystery Machine will come to PlayStation 4 sometime in 2021. The game originally launched on Apple Arcade, so it's a mobile game. That an extended edition of psychological thriller The Signifier will come to consoles in the form of a director's cut sometime this year. That PS1 style horror game Chasing Static will launch on PS4 and PS5 in the third quarter of this year. That Metroidvania game, that's not what that's supposed to say. Maybe it is. Out Buddies DX will come to PS4 on March 31st. I don't remember typing that. Must have had a stroke. That dungeon crawler game Undermine will come to PS4 on March 30th. That spaghetti western stealth game El Hijo, A Wild West Tale will launch on PS4 on March 25th.
That sounds kind of interesting. I like spaghetti westerns. Spaghetti westerns are fun.
Yeah. I don't have any idea what this game is, but it does sound interesting.
El Hijo, what does that mean in Spanish? Like uncle?
I think it means like the dog.
Oh.
I don't know.
That's not as exciting.
I don't know. That's not what it means. But anyway, Gamatsu also reported that Super Bomberman R Online will be coming to PS4 as a free-to-play title sometime this year after a period of exclusivity on Google Stadia. Fun fact about this game real quick is that when this game was announced to Google, announced for Google Stadia, Google came out and said, or Stadia came out and said that this game was only possible on Google Stadia, Travis, because of technology. The technology, it could only be made on Stadia because of the technology that they had on Stadia. But then here it is on PS4. I think it's coming to Switch and pretty much everywhere else. So,
interesting.
So that was a fucking lie. Gamatsu reported that brutal World War II first-person shooter, Hell Let Loose, which I also feel like we've talked about, but whatever, will come to PS5 sometime in 2021.
Looks
that game
fun.
Looks pretty cool. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. That city-building game, The Colonist, will release on PS4 sometime this year. That fast-paced first-person shooter, Necromunda Hired Gun, will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 1st. That game looks like a Doom ripoff, basically. It looks cool.
Sounds like a movie that Steven Seagal would star in now.
Yeah, it does. That 3D action adventure game Blue Fire will get a physical edition on PS4 on June 25th. That isometric medieval open world action game Rustler will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2021.
I watched something about that.
Yeah, I sent you something because this is like the original GTA game.
Oh,
it's like
yes.
Yeah, it's like they took the concept of the original top-down GTA games and made it a medieval game, like the bailiffs or whatever, and come on their horses at you, but somehow the horses have like red and blue siren lights and shit like that.
And they have Pimp My Horse, which is like Los Santos Customs. You can ride your horse through it. It's a new color.
Yes. Forgot about that. It's hilarious. Another awesome. Great idea. Yeah, another great idea.
It said, what did it say? It said like raise the community or destroy it, and the guy's like throwing bombs into haystacks and shit.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's another good idea for a game. Gamatsu reported that the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy bundle is now available on PlayStation 4, that the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 10th and will feature 4K at 60 frames per second, that adventure game Zorro, The Chronicles, was announced by developer BCom Studios for PS4 and PS5. Gonna ride your ass like Zorro. That life simulator camping game Cozy Grove will launch on PS4 on April 8th, with a native PS5 version coming shortly after.
I gotta tell you that I think camping is inherently stupid. We spent thousands of years as a species learning agriculture and how to build houses and be safe from the elements, and you want to go lay in a plastic tent on the ground. I think it's retarded. That being said, I'd rather play this game than go camping. I think this game looks stupid.
100%. I did not watch the trailer for this. I forgot, but yeah.
Really, I bet you put up a tent and you make a fire.
Yeah, I'm going to pitch a tent tonight with my wife.
There you go. Well, after you have it, you can take your kids camping and they can sit around the fire and play their iPad.
That's exactly what would happen. They'd want to hit you up for the hotspot so they can play on the iPad or play, Nintendo Switch.
And then yell about mosquitoes. Sounds really fun. I bet camping's great.
Yeah. Gamatsu also reported that action RPG Scarlet Nexus from Bandai Namco will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 24th. And finally, Gamatsu reported that Gamescom 2021 will be a hybrid online and in-person event, with the opening night live show scheduled for August 24th with usual host Jeff Keeley. And that is all for the news this week. And now I'll turn it over to Travis for a pretty good list of new game releases here this week.
On St. Patty's Day, March the 15th, we had Castle of No Escape 2 collapsed.
Whoa, that's
What?
not St. Patty's Day.
When is St. Patrick's Day?
It's the 17th.
Oh, on March. Listen, man, I'm not Irish. On March 15th.
Yeah, you're Native American.
That is not St. Patrick's Day, but before it, we have Castle of No Escape 2 collapsed. Journey of the Broken Circle, Pinkman Plus, where you play the end of Jesse Pinkman's life, St. Patrick's Day Break. See, that's what I thought of. On March the 16th, we had Mundan, Pitter Pot Complete Edition, Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse. Rebel Without a Pulse because he's a zombie. Rebel Without a Pause is a much better game to me.
It is. It is.
On the actual St. Patrick's Day, we had Beach Buggy Racing 2, Glaive Brick Breaker, in Breeze of Light, which I think you might actually like the game. You might want to check it out if you haven't. It has some vibes of that. What's the HBO series where everybody floated in the air?
The Leftovers?
Yeah, it has like some Leftovers vibe. Like there's a
interesting
Rapture vibe to it. I think you would enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm digging that.
We also have RBI Baseball 2, Signs of Sojourner.
Mm-hmm.
On the 18th, we have Explosionade DX, which reminds me, in my wife's class, they were playing Kahoot, and one of her kids made his name 69XD.
Oh,
so
what a guy.
He wasn't allowed to play anymore.
Did you tell her she was wrong for doing that?
I told her it was great. She said there's another one called like Nasty Squirrel or something like that. We also have Marvel's Avengers coming to PS5.
We're so fucked as a society.
Monster Blast, Space Otter Charlie, which looks terrible.
Sounds like a porno.
Does it?
Yeah.
Hey Charlie, come lick my Space Otter.
Space Otter Charlie 3. It's right there beside the Afro Horse at your local.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The space trees are talking.
Sorry, you're on Synergy. Yeah.
Synergia. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Survivor Edition. Space
Tomb
Otter
Raider also sounds like a. Go ahead.
Yeah. Space Otter is on the shelf by Womb Raider.
Oh, it's right there.
And
I mean, really, Explosionade DX, Explosionade Dix.
Yeah.
That's also.
There you go.
Sounds like a porno.
Monster
March 19th.
Okay, it's off the rails. On March 19th, we had Root Film, which is a game, not a film. And then with the aforementioned Can't Drive This on the PS5 and 4, where one person drives and one person builds. If you are a PS Plus member, it is like $22 instead of $25 on PS5.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that's it for the new video games.
Nice. All right. Well, let's start to wrap things up here. Let's discuss what we're going to be playing in the week ahead. What are we looking forward to here, Travis?
Well, I'll probably do a couple more races because I won 2 in a row, and I'm good at that track, and I like to win. And whenever a combination comes up that I'm good at with the right car and track, I like to spam the fuck out of it and see how many wins I can get. So I'll probably keep that going just to do it. I'm really good at the Red Bull Ring. I don't know why. It just works for me. It's odd. I'll probably finish my season of FIFA at some point over the next 2 seasons with Killamar Rock, whatever the hell they're called. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. Part of me wants to just keep going to like year 4 because I feel like if I get through 4 years, I'll have some dudes that are like in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah.
And I haven't been spending any of my transfer money because that's part of the challenge. But the good thing about it is it allows me to, I can throw all that money on the weekly wages, so I can afford to pay people. So that helps as they get better. Anyway, I will see. I might if I don't do that, if I redo another one, I'll probably do a youth challenge, and I'll have one youth scout, and I'll make him like really bad. I'll do like whatever I get when I start, whatever he is, I'll just keep that guy forever, and go to one country. And if I get stuck playing 42 overalls, I'll pretty much just sign every guy I get first. and bring them straight over, and we'll just roll with it. And I'll replace them as I get better dudes, I guess.
You need to do an Irish team. That'd be pretty difficult.
Right. Yeah, with no money because
yeah.
Everything's like $500,000 in the transfer. You'll run out of money to sign people. But anyway, that's about it. Battlefield's fun. We'll probably keep rocking and rolling with that a little bit. I would like to. I don't know. There's a couple of specific maps I really like, but we've had a hard time finding people for those games. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna play some FIFA as well. I'm gonna continue on with Saint Johnston. I've got to get all my guys up. I still have 2 positions that I need to get a youth academy player in, and I'm pretty close. I just need Santiago and one other guy to have a birthday so that I can get him up with the team and sell a couple of other lads. But I've been doing pretty well there. On great off to a great start in my coaching career, and I did take the Venezuela job, which looks like fun on the international front. And then I've really been enjoying Battlefield 5. Had a good time with it. There's the maps. The maps are pretty cool. I really like the Pacific ones the best. I think they're the coolest so far. But I don't know that we've played all of the other maps that are like the original ones. I don't think we've done that yet. So I only remember a couple of those. And then as far as other stuff, I'm not really sure. I can't decide if I'm going to keep playing Ratchet or not. I mean, I probably should, but then part of me thinks like I don't want to be burnt out on Ratchet before, June when the other one comes out. I don't know. But so I'm debating on whether or not it's time to play Planet Coaster, that roller coaster like theme park, theme roller coaster style game or whatever. So I'm debating on whether or not to start that. That maybe it may be time for that.
PlayStation Access Rated is one of the best management games you can play on PlayStation.
Oh, fuck. I don't need to fucking hear that. Management and simulation games are like my favorite genre. I don't need that.
They also had Cityscapes.
City Skylines?
Yeah, that's what I'm at. And
yeah,
of course, they have the last Civ Rev was on there. Theme Hospital, which is not what it's called. And
2 Point Hospital.
Right. And they had
got that too.
Yeah, they had another one on there that I know you've played.
Surviving Mars?
That might have been what it was. They had a bunch on there that but yeah, that was on there too.
Yeah. Oh, they're so fucking good. I could play all those, but then I would never play anything else if I did that. If that was the only thing I played.
That's the
I don't
point
know.
of them.
I guess. And then I've got Godfall too, so I may decide between one of those about going back to Godfall or not. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, then I'll probably still play some random Vita games as well. I like to mix that in just every now and then, fire the old Vitas up and keep the batteries running. Anyway, I think that's it. So we'll get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss a show. So that we'll be right there in your feed on Monday mornings waiting for you for maybe your Monday morning commute. Also, leave us a comment or a like or whatever on whatever service you're listening on. Leave us a review or a rating, a comment on YouTube. We'd much appreciate it. Also, if you would like to talk with us, you can hit us up on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. And then, of course, find us on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast. And then finally, if you'd be so kind as to share us with a friend who may enjoy a podcast like this where they can get all of the week's PlayStation news, rumors, game releases, and a little bit more in less than 90 minutes every week. It's that simple. We would much appreciate it. Hope you guys take care. Have a good week. We will talk at you next time. See ya.